For UniCredit, when you look at some of the pitfalls out there, there's a lot of concern about conflicts, geopolitics. You have very ambitious targets for UniCredit. Are you still sure that you can hit them well?
Yeah, I'm certain. We have worked very hard in the last 3 years to transform the bank, and a lot of the effects of this transformation are still to be, let's say, translated in financial results. So I think that regardless of what the environment is, we will outperform in terms of delivery because of what we have done and we continue to do.
Okay, well, what's your next strategy going to be like? So you have to present something this year, actually, 2024.
Well, look, I think when we announced UniCredit Unlocked, we had a completely different environment. No war, geopolitical stability, not instability. We had negative rates, no inflation, and then everything changed a month and a half later. And the strategy is still the same, it's just that the execution adapts to an environment that is different. I don't think that the substance of UniCredit Unlocked, the transformation of our model, of our commercial machine, of our operations, of the way we do business is going to change. What is changing now is that we're dealing with ability of institution to react to foresee and react quickly to geopolitical uncertainty and to shocks that they didn't see just a week before. And so that, I think, is what has changed materially the way we approach the business, which is constantly saying, do we have a blind side? And how do we prepare for that? And secondly, as we miss things, because we will, are we capable of reacting and adapting quickly and adjusting to the new environment? And I think we've done a good job for now, but we continue to be challenged.
But so what does that mean concretely in terms of more adaptable? If it's in the execution, are you even more careful on costs, and are you more risk averse?
Well, I think it means a number of things. The first thing is you need to be much more decisive in taking decision quickly. You know, we tend to emphasize processes and everything else, but if you have an invasion, you don't have 3 weeks to take a decision. You have a few hours to take a decision. The second thing is, for example, in our case, we've had 3 years, especially the last 2, that were particularly positive, given rates and inflation and everything, is not to be over greedy. And we have taxed our own P&L by billions and billions of over provisioning and integration costs and restructuring charges so that we could use those good years to prepare for what we need to deliver in the next 3. And now I think we feel quite strong in 2024 as all of those investments are going to deliver for us later. But the direction of travel is the same. Clients are still there. They still need us to be close to them. They still need us to provide them with solution products or advice as fast and as quality as possible. That remains the same.
Andrea, the Italian press is reporting that there's a sizable stake in Banca Popolare di Sondrio that's being bought by a U.S. investment bank on your behalf, on the behalf of UniCredit. Is that true?
Look, I think you beat everybody else because it's a second question of the first question you asked me. But every time I sit in an interview, yes, it was Commerzbank. Today it's Popolare di Sondrio. I think our position remains exactly the same. We have a ton of value internally, and any CEO has in its toolkit M&A. And we look at it, and we look at it a lot in every market where we are, and we're in 13 markets. But we're very disciplined in saying, is it strategic, and does it fit in terms of valuation? At this point in time, we know what is strategic, but valuation are misaligned. So there is a lot of intermediary and a lot of noise of people who try to create transactions, but the numbers don't foot. So
you're not interested in Sondrio? Is that fake news?
We're interested in everything at the right price.
So you're not buying shares right now in Sondrio? How do I interpret? No, you're not. There's also,
we're not.
Monte Paschi is also one again that the government is selling off. You've told me numerous times over numerous years that you're not interested. Still the case?
We have never said we were not interested. We were saying exactly what I'm saying now on a different targets, that at the time we felt, rightly or wrongly, that the terms at which we had to do it did not work. And while the bank has done extremely well, and I'm very happy for the government, if you look at how we have done a lot better. So the decision from our perspective of not doing and focusing internally and buying our own stock was bang on correct. And so that applies to anything out there that we look at.
But there's shares now for sale from Monte Paschi. Again, is it something that you're constantly looking at it if you want to remain agile? We also had an interview where you told me you had 10 billion to spend on M&A.
As I said, I think what I said, I have 10 billion of excess capital, which are either going to go to buy back my stock at 5 times going down in terms of multiple, or to make acquisition to strengthen the group. But I need to see that the valuation post synergies makes sense for my shareholders. So the answer is always everything and nothing. And we have been dancing this for a long time because a number of these targets make sense. But then when you go down to the numbers, vis-a-vis our own valuation, they do not. And we've been disciplined and we've made that commitment to investors and we will keep it.
I mean, valuations certainly in Europe have come down. Is this the year where we maybe see more acquisitions?
Possibly. I mean, first of all, I really hope so, because Europe needs bigger banks, stronger bank. I mean, if you look at what we're talking about, growth and everything, one of the issues with European growth is that we do not have strong European banks and capital markets to financially fuel that growth. And we're more expensive and everything else because we have less scale. So we need consolidation. What can happen in the next 2 years, if all this uncertainty is true, and is a much greater differentiation in valuation between banks who have done a very good job to prepare to rationalize and others who may have been riding the rate cycle, and that's it. If that happens, then at least from a valuation standpoint, there will be more opportunity. But if you look at cross-border, without a banking union, very, very difficult for people to do that.
Andrea, what happens to your Russian unit?
Well, look, we will give obviously an update with our Q4 or year-end results in February. But suffice to say that our strategy and our commitment has not changed. No. At the moment, you're looking at, we have probably reduced by 70% our exposure there. It has costed us less than 10 or 15% of that, and we've done that in an orderly fashion, and we will continue to do that.